I asked myself, what do I have to say to you? I mean, when you become a commencement speaker, you pay obsessive attention to other commencement speakers. Obama, Glenn Beck, Dick Cheney, Madonna. And you know, there's a lot of pressure to come up with the killer theme that will send everyone flying out the door saying they could change, thinking they could change the world and make a bundle in the process. And on top of that, as you've just seen, I have just become Dr. Phil. My own commencement speaker was B.B. King. So he wasn't really a helpful role model for me. I remember he dragged a folding chair to the lip of the stage and plugged in Lucille and played our school's fight song better than it had ever been played before. And I don't think he said a word. When I graduated from college in 1970, I knew I wanted to be a writer and that I wanted to write nonfiction. I suppose my goal was to walk into a bookstore and see a book with my name on it, which still gives me a big thrill. But now, my main goal is to connect with readers. I want to do work that comes from the heart. And today I noticed my 3-year-old daughter, Ruby, stomping around the asphalt in the driveway, just stomping all her might, very determined. And I got up from the porch and walked to her. And I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Squishing ants." I said, "Why?" She said, "I don't know." I said, "Well, how would you like to be one of those ants?" And she said, "I wouldn't care." But when I walked away and she couldn't see me anymore, she stopped doing it, and I wondered why. I wondered if it was that last question that I had asked her. How would you like to be one of those ants? I believe that all living things are equally important, and I believe they're all equally deserving of respect and care. I have been looking for a way to make this point in a song with our family band that we had back then. But nothing had gelled until that moment in the driveway. Ruby had moved my universe. When is the first time people discover they have the power to kill and the opportunity not to? Squishing bugs.
That's right.
Squishing bugs. In fact, the Dalai Lama was asked, what is the best way to raise a Buddhist baby? And he replied, teach them to love insects. I had an idea. I asked my elder daughter, then 9, if she would help me write a song. An hour later, we had scripted a conversation, a negotiating session between a child about to squish an ant and the ant itself. We had given the ant a voice and a chance to plead its case. I put a melody to the song. In January of 1992, Hannah and I had our first chance to perform Hey Little Ant. The venue was the First Parish Church, downtown, part of the New Year's Port. Just up, like that? Ah, okay. Hey little ant, down in the crack, can you hear me? Can you talk back? See my shoe? Can you see that? Well now it's gonna squish you flat. Please, oh please, do not squish me. Change your mind and let me be. I'm on my way home with a crumb of pie. So please don't hurt me, don't make me die. Anyone knows an ant can't feel. You're so tiny you don't look real. I'm so big and you're so small. I don't think it'll hurt at all. Yeah, well you are a giant and giants can't know how it feels to be an ant. Come down close, I think you'll see that you are very much like me. Are you crazy? Me, like you? I have a home and a family too. You're just a speck that runs around. No one will care if my foot comes down. Oh big friend, you are so wrong. My nestmates need me cause I am strong. I dig our nest, feed baby ants too. I must not die beneath your shoe.
My mother says that ants are rude. They carry off our picnic food. They steal our chips and our breadcrumbs too. It's good if I squish a crook like you. I'm not a crook, kid. Read my lips. Sometimes ants need crumbs and chips. Why, one single chip feeds our whole town. You must not let your foot come down. But all my friends squish ants each day. Squishing ants is just a game we play. My friends are listening, looking at me, and they're listening too. They all say I should squish you. Well, I can see you're big and strong. Decide for yourself what's right and wrong. If you were me and I were you, what would you want me to do? And then Hannah and I, in performing it, we would hold hands and sing together the final chorus. Should the ant get squished? Should the ant go free? It's up to the kid, not up to me. So we'll leave the kid with the raised up shoe. What do you think that kid should do?
Finished the song. The first time we ever sung it with that question, what do you think that kid should do? A girl in the audience raised her hand. And this had never happened with a song before. There would be applause, but nobody had ever raised their hand, and she was frantic, you know, so I said yes. And she said, what if it's a mosquito? A neighbor said, yeah, what if it's a bee? And another kid said, well, yeah, what if it's a red ant and it's on your leg? And another child said, well, what if you just spilled a glob of honey on your kitchen counter and there are like 500 ants coming after it? And you could see adults, parents nodding in the crowd. Well, we had them right where we wanted them. Clearly the song had raised questions. Is flattening a bug really an act of murder? Do the things we have in common with tiny living creatures really weigh as much as all the obvious differences? Do we have any obligation not to kill them when we notice them? And do we have a right to kill them when they bother us? What do you think that kid should do? The following year, I wrote a proposal to turn the song into a children's picture book. I felt confident of success. This was one of the great lines in the history of children's literature. What would you do if your mother asked you? And that editor wrote me back, you're not Dr. Seuss. Angrily, I built a file of rejection letters, but then I saw the futility of it. That only made me frustrated and bitter. I turned my energy to building support for the project. I asked educators I met who appreciated the song to write paragraphs of praise, emphasizing what a great book it would be. I kept fattening the proposal and pumping it out to editors. I received a thoughtful rejection letter from a tiny publishing house in San Francisco. The editor-in-chief wrote, Dear Mr. Hoose, Hey Little Ant caused quite a hot debate around our office, but unfortunately, the story's unresolved conclusion makes it impossible for us to offer you a contract. With all best wishes. Once again, the question at the end had done us in. Wearily, I went to Hannah and asked her, should we change the ending? No way, she said. I agreed. I dashed off a reply insisting that ants ending liberated children, allowing them to form personal answers to a very big question, something that they would all face at some point in their lives. I glumly tossed the letter into the mailbox and put it out of my mind. A month later, the editor called me. The staff had read my letter, touching off a second office debate. Deadlocked, they had hired a consultant who agreed with me. She wondered, was Hey Little Ant still available? We found a gifted illustrator who painted lush watercolors of children. I had to be tenacious and adaptable. At the beginning, I was letting rejection get me down too much. After a while, I made a rule. I gave myself one day to take it personally. To pout and fume and storm and stalk around. Then I reread the letter with a colder eye to see if there was anything in the message that could improve the proposal. In 1995, I let another small incident change the course of my life. I was interviewing a 13-year-old girl named Sarah Rosen for a book idea when she happened to remark that there was no one her own age in her U.S. history book. She said, "Study. Maybe your world is your family, your neighborhood, your city, your office, your watershed, your school. Volunteer. It'll take you out of your head. Listen to your heart and do the work you want to do. It may take you several jobs to reach your ideal, but keep going. Learn what you can from rejection and move on. It happens to everyone. Be adaptable, change in midstream, don't put too much pressure on yourselves, work out, take care of your bodies, sing, support the arts, don't give up. Change, modify, adapt, but don't give up. And finally, don't work all the time. Turn off your iPhones, unplug your laptops. I'll leave you with a song. I'll leave you with a song by my good friend Charlie King. As he points out, we spent the better part of a century in this country trying to organize support for an 8-hour day as a workplace standard. 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest, 8 hours for what we will. That was the slogan. We need to revisit it. Some of you know this, sing along. My mic is falling off. How's that? Okay. How's that? Better? All right, thank you. Now this I've never tried before. Getting my guitar over regalia. If I have another child, that's what I'm going to name him to. Regalia, you're breaking my heart. My job drives me crazy. I'm always behind, even though I am not one to shirk. And 1,000 old folk songs repeat in my ear. My life should be more than my work. I like the work that I do. I don't mind earning my pay, but there's so much to do when the work day is through. Bring back the 8-hour day. Oh, bring back the 8-hour day. When did we give it away? When did we give it away? There's so much to do when the work day is through. Bring back the 8-hour day. Say you work at an 8-hour job. You get paid at a fixed monthly rate, but you go up to a half hour early, then you stay a full hour late. Then you're stuck in the overtime traffic with the rest of the overtime drones. There's a latchkey kid you must chase off to bed before you eat your cold supper alone. Oh, bring back the 8-hour day. When did we give it away? When did we give it away? So much to do. There's so much to do when the work day is through. Bring back the 8-hour day. They got cellular phones for your car. They got notebook PCs for your lap. When you cross